Hi, and welcome back to Focal Point. Brian Fisher, my name. The program Focal Point. The network is AFR Talk, the most feared radio network in all of America. Give us a call, 888-589-8840, if you would like to be part of the program. I want to talk for just a moment about a movie that's premiering this weekend in America, Last Ounce of Courage. It opens nationwide Friday night, September 14th. So this is the opening weekend. This movie, Last Ounce of Courage, is a story about a grieving father who is inspired by his grandson to take a stand for faith and freedom against this rising tide of apathy and vanishing liberty that we see all around us. So he becomes, in this film, a champion for the principles that you and I cherish, that we hold dear. So it's a tale of family connections and bonds, free expression, really designed to encourage all Americans to take a stand like Micaiah, the son of Imlah, the guy that we read about earlier today. One voice of truth against 400 voices of falsehood. And this is a movie that's designed to motivate us and encourage us to imitate his example, take a stand, and raise our voices in support of those beliefs. Now, once you see this movie, which we encourage you to do this opening weekend, you want to join the Stand USA community. This is actually not just a movie, but the beginning of a movement to take back our country from liberalism, take back our country from those things that are eating away, eroding our freedoms and liberties one by one. You can get a sneak preview of what that would mean by going to standusa.com, standusa.com. You can join the community and become part of the cadre of Americans that are out there to take a stand for our values. So that is the movie Last Ounce of Courage, premiering this weekend. 888-589-8840, number to call. Now, President Obama has said, look, to Bibi Netanyahu, Prime Minister of Israel, wants to meet with Barack Obama because they've got a serious situation with Iran. Iran is nuking up. Bibi Netanyahu cannot get any answers from Barack Obama about what the United States is willing to do. In fact, Barack Obama has been sending back-channel communications to Iran that if Israel strikes you, don't come back at us because we got nothing to do with it. We're not going to help them. We're not going to support them. We're not going to defend them. We don't have their back. They are on their own. That's the message that Barack Obama is sending to Iran through back-channel diplomatic sources. So whereas you have with George Bush, his message to Israel is, we've got your back. Barack Obama's message to Israel, drop dead, you're on your own. Don't count on any help from us. And so Netanyahu wants to meet with Barack Obama, and Barack Obama says, look, I don't have time for you. I am too busy. But then we find out he's going on the David Letterman show. We find out that he's going to attend a fundraiser that's going to be held by Beyonce and her husband. And he's got time to go on local radio and talk to a hip DJ. This is clip number 4, Rob. So here is Barack Obama. Doesn't have time to meet with Netanyahu. He does have time to go on the Letterman show. He does have time to play 104 rounds of golf. And he does have time to go on this program and talk with this DJ by the name of, I forget what this guy's name is. What is this guy's name? DJ Laz is his name. He calls himself the Pimp with a Limp. I'm not kidding. He's actually got a felony record on some kind of a weapons charge. So here is the President of the United States demeaning the office of the presidency with this kind of exchange. Let's listen.
Governor Romney and Congressman Ryan, what they want to do is turn Medicare into a voucher system. And it's pretty straightforward. You get a voucher here, your voucher's worth X amount of dollars. And if it turns out that health care costs more, if the insurance companies are jacking up their rates because they want to make a larger profit or have higher administrative costs, well, you've got to make up for the difference. And seniors would be much less secure, and basically folks who've looked at it say that proposal over the long term destroys Medicare as we know it, a basic guarantee for seniors, and puts seniors once again at the mercy of insurance companies, and those especially who are sicker or more vulnerable, they would really pay the price.
So that's Barack Obama. He's got time to talk to this rapper. You should have heard their exchange in the first minute of that. It was just enough to make you sick. President Obama trying to be Mr. Hip guy. He's the guy who didn't know how to operate an iPhone yesterday. But he's Mr. Hip. He's talking about the names of rappers, people that I never heard of, and how cool is this and how cool am I, just demeaning the office of the presidency as he goes. Let's go back to clip number 2. Representative Alan West, and he's upset with the fact that the U.S. Embassy apologized to these Muslim thugs, and the Muslim Brotherhood, again, out today. They're not apologizing for what was done to the U.S. Embassy. They are threatening the United States of America. If you don't criminalize, if you don't charge and prosecute the filmmaker, then we're going to hold you accountable, U.S. government. Not an ounce of regret or apology for what happened. Here's Representative Alan West and his view of it.
I think it's an absolutely horrible thing, because what you have to understand, here we are on 9/11. Remember the attacks that resulted in 3,000 Americans losing their lives not too far from here at the Pentagon. And now we have had another attack on sovereign American soil, which is what a consulate and an embassy is. Our flag was torn down. It was burned. The radical Islamist flag was raised, and we have an American official that lost their lives. And the first thing that come out is that we're going to apologize for something that a Christian Coptic individual posted a video on his Facebook site. So now if we're going to start, issuing our freedom of speech rights to apologize to people for these type of attacks, Greta, you're only going to get even more of this. This is rewarding bad behavior, and I think that you're going to see this dovetail into other countries.
I think that's what Governor Romney was saying, too, that he did not like the immediate response out of the U.S. government.
No, I think it's a horrific response that we're apologizing. We're accepting the blame for this, which means that you're going to fuel more of this response.
Now, Barack Obama, it turns out, has been at less than 44% of the daily intelligence briefings. The intelligence community prepares a briefing for him, and he's missed 56.2% of those briefings. George Bush never missed a one. George Bush, in fact, would get those intelligence briefings 6 days a week, and Barack Obama has not received an intelligence briefing since at least September 5th. So this whole last week leading up to the anniversary of 9/11, he was getting no intelligence briefings whatsoever. And Bibi Netanyahu, you heard the soundbite at the top of the hour, he's really teed off at Barack Obama, because Barack Obama's out there saying, wait, it's too soon, don't strike. And he cannot get any kind of a word from Barack Obama about what the United States is willing to do to come to their defense, to have their back. And here's what he said: the world tells Israel, wait, there's still time. And I say, wait for what? Wait until when? And then, as you heard, he said those in the international community who refuse to put red lines before Iran. What he means by that, a red line which says to Iran, you cross this line, we're coming after you. If a nation will not put red lines before Iran, it does not have a moral right to place a red light before Israel. And those ones that attacked the embassy, by the way, you know what they were shouting yesterday? They were shouting, Obama, Obama, there are still a billion Osamas. That's what the Muslim rioters were chanting. So if it's anybody's fault, it's Obama's fault. Who are they blaming? They're not blaming the movie guy. They're blaming Barack Obama. Obama, Obama, there are still a billion Osamas. Well, let's go to the phones. Let's go to Robert, Lake Charles, Louisiana. Robert, you're on Focal Point with Brian Fisher. What's on your mind?
Hey, Brian. Thanks for taking my call. I love your show.
Thank you.
I am, listening like everyone else, all of your other listeners, and I'm finding myself. I know my blood pressure is up about way too high. This is reminding me of a young man, a little fella named King David, and it's reminding me of a few gentlemen named Meshach, Shadrach, and Abednego. And these radical Islamists, who are they before the throne of God Almighty? Who are these Philistines? And we as first of all God's people, certainly I have all the confidence in the world that we do support Israel and will support Israel. What I'm frustrated about, among other things, is when are we going to have enough? here in America. When are we in America going to have enough of the Islamists? And when are we, the body of Christ, going to have enough of the radical far-right bunch here in the U.S. of A. that is under God?
Well, you know, and I agree with you, Robert. I think our kind of signal's breaking up there, so I'll let you go. But I appreciate your call. And, you know, the reality is, you know, it's interesting, the parallel that Robert's drawn between this and King David, because he says, who is this uncircumcised Philistine to come against the armies of the living God? In other words, David understood that this ultimately was a matter of spiritual warfare, and that's exactly what we're involved in. We've got two competing worldviews and two different gods. Allah and the God of the Judeo-Christian tradition are not the same God. You can ask a Muslim, he'll admit it. You know, we worship Jesus as God. Ask a Muslim, do you worship Jesus as God? He'll say, no, that's blasphemy. We worship different gods. The God we worship has a son. Ask a Muslim, does the God you worship have a son? No, that's blasphemy. So clearly we worship different gods, and this ultimately is a matter of spiritual warfare. Let's grab a quick call. Let's go to Joe, Waco, Texas. Joe, I got about 40 seconds before the break. What's on your mind?
Yeah, first of all, I'm a retired senior master sergeant in the Air Force, and I went to Desert Storm.
Mm-hmm.
Okay?
Yes.
The Islamics, in my opinion, are barbarians. Okay? Saying that, I have read Revelations, and if anyone wants to take a look and to see what's going to happen to the world, read Revelations. I believe, this is my opinion now, that Barack Obama is either the prophet of the Antichrist or the Antichrist.
Mm-hmm.
He's a very charismatic individual, and he was getting everyone on his side, and he's still trying to do that.
Hmm.
He's also given away everything that we stand for, our faith, our beliefs, and I just really, really am a book of Revelation, seeing a lot of things coming to pass.
All right, Joe. Well, listen, I appreciate the call. Thank you for that. And we can talk a little bit about the book of Revelation coming out of the break. But, you know, Satan is always trying to pull off the agenda you see in the book of Revelation. Maybe he's getting close. Focal Point, AFR Talk.
Announcing smart filtering.